All right, so I'm working through some of these review problems. This is a great problem for finance. And so we've got a person, Daisy, investing $37,000 in a fixed deposit account with an annual rate of 6.4% compounded quarterly. So I pulled up my finance app here and I'm going to type in the information. So if we have the amount of Daisy's investment after 2 years, that's going to mean that I have 8 quarters. Okay, 2 years is 8 quarters, so that's what my end value is going to be. I is 6.4. That's pretty straightforward. Investing 37,000, so that sounds like she's depositing it, so I'm putting it in there as a negative number. No payments, and 4 times a year. So here's what my finance app looks like. I'm going to ask it to calculate the future value. So alpha solve on the future value, we get 42009.87 right there. So that's the value after 2 years. Great. Okay, so then after M months, the amount of money has appreciated to more than $50,000. So this time I put 50,000 into my FV and I ask it to solve for N. And what I get is that there are about 18.96 is my N value here. But what we have to be careful about is that this is actually the number of quarters. So if the number of quarters equals 18.969, I need to multiply that to convert it to months. And when I did this problem first, I actually multiplied it by 4 because I'm thinking, 4 quarters in a year. But it turns out a student helped me actually understand it's actually multiplied by 3 because there's 3 months per quarter. So just be careful there that the number of months is what we're asking for. So we actually multiply it by 3 and then we're going to round it up. So let's see here. 18.969 times 3 is 56.907. And so that means it's going to be 57 is the number of months. And that makes sense that you'd go up to 57 because on the 56th month, you're not going to have enough. And then on the 57th month, you will. Okay. Daisy is saving to purchase a new apartment. The price is $200,000. She makes an initial payment of 25%. So 25% of 200,000. If you calculate that out, that gives you $50,000. And she takes out a loan to pay the rest, which is the other $150,000. So that's for part C. Now we get a little more information about the loan. The loan is for 10 years compounded monthly. So I'm going back to my finance app. I've got 10 years compounded monthly. So that's 10 times 12, 120 months with monthly payments of $1,700. So my PV, my present value, is a positive number, 150,000, because I'm receiving that loan from the bank. My PMT, my payment, is negative 1,700 because I'm paying that much back to the bank at the end of each month. If we pay it off, that means our future value is 0, and I'm making sure my P over Y and C over Y are both 12. The question is the interest, okay? And so I'm going to ask the calculator to tell me what the interest is. So I go green, solve, and your calculator should look like this now. So you get 6.4577, etc. And that's actually the interest rate. Oops. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so the interest rate, 6.4578%. It's not the amount of interest. And a lot of people were confused by this, but the amount of interest is actually a lot easier to calculate because you're doing $1,700 payments. You're paying those for 10 years. You're paying 12 payments per year, and so that's actually just $204,000. Now, that's not quite the amount of interest. That's the total amount that you pay over 10 years. So if you take away what your loan is for, you get the interest amount. So you pay $54,000 in interest over that 10-year period because that's how much more you paid than the original loan. You paid $1,700 120 times, and that is $54,000 more than you borrowed. That's what interest means. The interest rate, I used the finance app to find, and that's the 6.45%. Now, we change it even a little bit more. After 5 years of paying off this loan, so now I'm going to keep the I percent in there, but I'm going to change my N to 60. 5 years is 60 months. I can keep my PV the same. I can keep my PNT the same. I'm just going to ask it to solve for the future value. So there's what your calculator could look like. Sorry about the shadow. There we go. And you can see that I have a amount that I still owe. My future value is 86 negative 86972.61. It's a negative number because you still owe that money. So after 5 years of making payments, after 60 payments, you still owe $86,972. So that would be what you would pay off at that time. Pay the remainder in one final payment. So how much money did she save doing it this way? Well, that means she did $1,700 times 5 years of 12 payments per year, plus she paid 86972.61. So this number right here is going to be the total amount that she paid. So that's the total amount that she paid, 188 and change. And so that means that she paid this much over her 5-year payoff plan compared to, remember, she paid $204,000 over 10 years. So if you subtract those two, then you get a difference of $15,027.39. And the way I got that is just by doing 204,000 minus the number we just calculated. And that's it. So it's a lot of just messing around with your finance app, but really it's more important understanding that your interest is always the difference. The interest in dollars, the amount of dollars of interest you pay, is the difference between your total payments and the original loan. You don't need to grab a fancy app for that. You just need to think, how much did I pay minus how much did I borrow? The remainder is the interest. All right, let me know if anything was confusing. Thanks for watching.